is going on, Ringsiders? This is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, and welcome back to Ringside Stories. Or if you're new, we make content regarding boxing through mini documentaries, backstories, takeaways, and much more. So if you enjoy that type of content, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for the latest here on Ringside Stories. Thanks so much for your support in advance, and welcome to the channel. George Kambosos Jr. is the new unified WBA, IBF, WBO, and Ring Magazine lightweight champion of the world, defeating the man who beat the man, former undefeated Teofimo Lopez, aka The Takeover, via 12-round split decision. A great action-packed fight and, in my opinion, #1 contender for upset of 2021.
What I done last night, going to the backyard of Lopez's, home, taking everything off him. In his prime, coming off the Lomachenko fight, knocking everyone out, and I dissected him, round by round. So it's a good feeling. We got the belts, and it's nice.
He boxed the absolute fight of his life, and he just refused to quit. The first round was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. I thought, he's done. He got buzzed, he got hurt. Teofimo looked like a monster, and he just came back, and he knocked Teofimo down, and Teofimo come back. George started controlling the middle part of the round.
Can't win a fight if you're not staying busy. My son was touching him every second. It's just the way it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
You believed you won 10 of the 12 rounds?
Yes, I did.
And he said to me after, I won that fight, and no, he didn't. And George won that fight. He deserves it. He's a fucking hero, mate. Hero, King of Australia. I mean, what a guy.
A lot to discuss, so let's break it down with 5 takeaways from Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. Let's get into it. Number 1. Pride cometh before the fall. So far, Teofimo Lopez has proven to be an exciting fighter who, prior to his mandatory title defense versus George Kambosos Jr., has put the world on notice in his 2 previous fights against Vasil Lomachenko and Richard Commey. However, Teofimo Lopez did not learn from the examples in the past, clearly not focused on the task at hand. And so was his dad, who took the honors of leading his son as opposed to Junior's former trainer, Joey Gamache.
These guys overwork their asses because they know they're going to fight somebody dangerous in my son. And that's the big mistake they make. I don't overtrain my son. I leave that in the ring, When he goes in the ring and he does this devastating knockout that I know is going to win knockout of the year, and I'm saying it here and I'm never wrong, So
Nostradamus.
So come November 27th, this boy's going to be running, That's the only thing that's going to save him for the first round.
Add up the fact Lopez versus Kambosos got postponed a couple of times, passed around various TV networks before the actual fight on November 27, 2021.
I don't believe it was a close fight at all. I believe that at the end of it all, I scored 11-2. Well, 10-2.
You believed you won 10 of the 12 rounds?
Yes, I did.
If Teofimo Lopez makes the proper adjustments, moves up in weight, has a couple of comeback fights, he can come again. But he has to stay active to be able to utilize and impose his athleticism and grow as a fighter. I think Teofimo Lopez has to work on his defense, has to learn how to control his anger and emotions. But at the end of the day, Teofimo is a gifted fighter who certainly is better than he showed in this fight against George Kambosos. Number 2. Where was Teofimo Lopez's strategy? I like Teofimo Lopez as a fighter. He sounds confident, but he simply just did not do enough to win the Kambosos fight. As soon as the bell rang for round 1, the takeover was looking for the layover. Now, I know Teofimo Lopez is a young guy, meaning he could be triggered emotionally and psychologically, which is what Lopez versus Kambosos proved, certainly.
These are suckers. These are fucking cockroaches.
You're the cockroach because you got rid of your whole team. You know what? They got rid of Joey Gamache, but they also got rid of the nutritionists. They're getting rid of everybody.
We keep it the way we do. I'll say it like this. We keep it the way we do. Everybody, tune in Saturday night. I ain't playing no games here, man.
We're going to humble these guys,
and I'm going to say it like this.
And
when I humble this fool,
sending you back to Australia.
And I know a lot of things went on behind the scenes, taking consideration Teofimo's ring rust and his weight cut that might be a lot tougher than people think. All that said though, Teofimo Lopez showed he had no strategy as George Kambosos used movement to offset the champ. He timed his man with a snappy jab, hooks and right hands over the top. The only thing Teofimo Lopez seemed interested in was doing his best Deontay Wilder impersonation, looking for one big shot. Result:
his opponent. What a right hand from George Kambosos!
And when Lopez's early aggression started to fade, the lack of strategy was exposed in the mid-rounds when George Kambosos found consistent success. And Teofimo wasn't getting the advice needed from his corner, aka his dad, Teofimo Lopez Sr.
Man, listen, man. You saw me in every round jumping up and down and telling my son, you got that. You got that, you got that, you got that.
I like Senior for his confidence and passion for his son, but newsflash, it's gravity. Even the New York crowd who were rooting for Teofimo at the end of the fight felt their man lost.
Referee knew I won tonight. Everybody knew I won tonight, and I'm just thankful.
Number 3, Fight of the Year contender.
No more, bro.
You are
talk no more. I can't wait for Saturday.
Oh, I can't wait. I've been waiting a long
Wait.
time. Since June
gonna be
19th. Since June
Listen,
19th,
man,
I've been
I know
waiting.
what my son is gonna do to you, man.
Well,
I
I'm
see it
waiting
every
for
day in the gym.
Like, you get humbled. You will be humbled.
Everybody
Lucky
tune
they
in,
grabbed my
man.
ass.
Hey, it's gonna be the
Lucky
week for
they grabbed my
Thanksgiving
ass.
weekend.
Laughing
Everybody's
at
gonna have
y'all.
Again, the bad blood between the two during the build-up carried into the ring, with both guys getting dropped, hurt, with plenty of battle scars earned to show for after. Fact is, where one fight ago against 10 pound-for-pound great Vasil Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez looked like the real deal. In this fight, in spots, he looked bang average. Not saying Teofimo Lopez is an average fighter, he's proven to be quite formidable, just not against George Kambosos Jr. Maybe Teofimo Lopez isn't able to make the 135-pound limit anymore, or maybe George Kambosos Jr. is just better than advertised.
I really believed in myself. Many didn't, but the most important thing is I believed in myself, and I went in there round by round, dissected him, and took all his belts.
Unexpectedly, the fight between Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos was a highly entertaining fight. Number 4, Aussie history. George Kambosos Jr. is the first man Aussie boxer to win a world title since Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao in the summer of 2017. Ferocious is the first Aussie to hold more than one world title since Daniel Gill in September of 2012.
Look at me. I'm the greatest fighter in Australian history, and that's no disrespect. I got all the belts.
Well, no. Exactly 20 years earlier, Kos Tszyu knocked out Zab Judah in 2 rounds. I think that stands as the most significant win in Australia's boxing history to date, as the Thunder from Down Under became the undisputed light welterweight champion of the world in November of 2001, knocking out an undefeated fellow world champion who went on to conquer the 147-pound division years later. Also, in the modern era, you got Hall of Famer Jeff Fenech, who made some noise by becoming a 3-weight world champion. That does not take away anything of George Kambosos' achievement on November 27, 2021, as Ferocious went to his opponent's backyard, beat the man who coming into the fight was seen as one of the most talented young fighters in this division in this era. George Kambosos showed a good array of boxing skill, was well prepared, who can stick to a game plan, showed a decent chin, and plenty of fighting heart. Teofimo Lopez might move up to 140, and George Kambosos Jr. holds all the options. And if he does become undisputed lightweight champion of the world, he might just be the best boxer Australia has ever produced. But we'll see. Number 5, undisputed next.
The Devin Haney fight is probably the most likable fight for me. That's the fight I love, and we'll see what happens.
George Kambosos Jr. could also opt to fight Devin Haney, the current WBC world champion at 135, next. Devin Haney's got to take care of business himself against former IBF super featherweight titleist and current WBC interim lightweight title holder Jojo Diaz. A lot will depend on what Kambosos will do next in terms of his promotional outfit. But all things considered, George Kambosos Jr. and Devin Haney are 2 fighters revered for their boxing abilities, not so much their knockout power, and aesthetically this will be a different matchup than Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney would be. So all things considered, should George Kambosos Jr. take on Devin the Dream Haney next for the undisputed lightweight world championship, who would you be picking? Let us know in the comments below. That's all Future Talk for now. Teofimo Lopez together with George Kambosos Jr. made for an exciting fight, probably upset of the year, maybe even fight of the year. It'll be interesting what Teofimo Lopez will do next in terms of his weight class he'll fight in terms of his promotional outfit, in terms of his next fight, and in terms of his training team. Because as the Kambosos fight showed, Teofimo Sr. did not prepare his son as he should have and was not able to give his son the proper instructions to make the adjustments to win the fight. For now, congratulations to George Kambosos Jr. for becoming the unified lightweight champion of the world in another underdog on top story who has improved his record to 20 wins, 0 losses. These are just my observations. What are yours? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoy content like this and you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell. It helps out the channel a lot, i.e. inspire us to make more quality content for y'all. As always, thank you so much for your support in advance, and welcome to Ringside Stories. Now, if you've done that already, you're amazing. We already know that you are the true, undisputed world champion. Till next time, Ringsiders, this is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, with Ringside Stories. Thanks for watching, and have a legendary day.